Hello and welcome to Wired In. I'm Diana Galata with Hampton City Schools. I'm pleased today to be joined by Fran Thompson, who is a public educator with Hampton Fire and Rescue. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
We're really glad you're here, and I know you brought some props as well that we'll get into later. But first, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? And how did you end up in the career of firefighting?
I'm originally from Metro Detroit in Michigan. I moved here probably close to about 10 or so years ago to be a teacher, and was so for a year, and then transitioned into a slight related field, but working with the fire department for fire safety and public education in that field. So I've been doing that for 2 different departments, the most recent Hampton, and I've been there for about 3 years doing this.
So you've been in Hampton for 3 years, and where were you before?
I was with a Virginia Beach Fire Department before that.
Okay, so still in the area.
Still in the area, yes. Hampton Roads.
So tell us, because it's my understanding that really the prevention of fires is very important, and the education is really what's very important in terms of the prevention of fires. So tell us a little bit about your job and what you do to help prevent fires in our community.
Well, the public education branch of the fire department actually comes out of the fire marshal's office, which focuses on different ways to prevent fires. And one of those ways is through educating the public, which can reduce the number of risks and also the number of fires that we have in the public just by making a few small changes in what we do to keep ourselves safe at home. Primarily, during the school year, go to the schools, and I teach the 4th grade fire safety program. So I will visit every 4th grade student in their school during their library time by the end of the school year, all 1,500. And I'm excited because I'm the only fire safety teacher that I'm aware of in the state of Virginia that uses tablets to teach fire safety. So we use these tablets, and each student has one. I have them in different colors, just have a red one with me today. And so my tablet interacts with these tablets, and the student interacts with this. So we use technology as a way to get children excited about teaching safety, because safety is not one of the most exciting topics to learn about. So we try to increase the chances of being excited, or a student being excited about safety, through the use of technology.
Well, that's great, and really, our kids these days are born with the phone in their hand, I think. Yeah. So really using the tools that they're engaged in is great. But tell us a little bit about what you would have on the tablet. Are they pictures of fires? Are they videos? Or is it more of a interactive quiz? What kind of things are you doing with the tablet?
Right. Well, actually, everything you mentioned, surprisingly, is on the tab. We start with a pre-test, which lets me know what our 4th graders already know, and it also helps me in the future kind of direct the fire education program. Then we talk about smoke alarms, which I brought one today as well, talk about what they are, what they do, what their purpose is, also how to test a smoke alarm, because we want to encourage families to be working on testing their smoke alarms at least once a month. And the 4th grade program is also a way for families to take that opportunity to remind themselves to test their smoke alarms to make sure that the batteries work. After smoke alarms, we talk about escape planning, making sure you know 2 ways out of every room when possible, and also having a meeting place where the entire family or household agrees to meet in the event of a fire, so that you know who is still stuck inside and needs assistance.
So how long does your lesson usually take? Is it an hour long? Is it multiple lessons over time?
It's around approximately 40 minutes. It usually takes the entire library period, and I do it over a course of 2 library sessions. So usually they're about a week apart. Sometimes, depending on the school schedule, it takes a little bit longer than that. And there is a small homework assignment in between them, which usually the kids aren't excited about, but I do give them a couple of safety prizes for participating. But that is more or less going home and checking your smoke alarms, making sure they work, knowing how many you have and what they sound like, and picking that family meeting place to ensure that they understand where to go in the event of an emergency.
So what have you found in your experience that our students are most interested in? Is there a part of the lesson that excites them more than another part?
There is. I do put a fire video on to show how quickly the smoke and the fire fill the room, and that part usually gets quite a reaction from the students. I don't think they realize how fast moving fire, smoke, and heat can be, and how important it is to really have an early warning system to get out on time.
So what do you like best about your job? Is it interacting with the kids, or is it more the broader public education?
I love working with youth and their ideas and what their thoughts are on how to solve problems and do things. But I just think in general, my favorite part of my job is interacting with the community and doing what I can to be a good resource and spreading good information to hopefully reduce the number of deaths and injuries by our students and their families, and as a whole, our community.
So tell us a little bit, I know you brought a few more props with you. Tell us a little bit more about what we can do in our homes to prevent fires.
Absolutely. Well, we of course are kind of coming into the winter and fall holidays, and Thanksgiving Day has the highest number of fires, 4 times the normal amount.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because of cooking. And cooking actually accounts for 46% of the fires nationwide. We have an average nationwide of 455 fires a day because of cooking, and it's one of the areas that fires can most be prevented in. So one of those ways is when we're cooking is to always have a tight-fitting lid that goes with what you're using. Even if the recipe does not require a lid to be used, it should be on standby right next to where you're cooking, because if the contents were to catch on fire, putting the lid on the top removes the oxygen from the fire and can suppress the fire right in the pan. Although I know that I even have glass-topped lids at home, and they've been broken. So if you do not have a tight-fitting lid, you can use a cookie sheet. And that will fit on any pan, and it slides right over the top. And then, of course, turn the heat off as well and call the fire department for assistance. I think the number one tip, though, would be always stay with your cooking. And that's, I think, about 1/3 of cooking fires result because someone walks away from their cooking and forgets that they were doing something or something needs to be watched. And so we really encourage people that when you're cooking, please stay in the kitchen and pay attention to what you're doing.
So what about candles? Because I know during the holidays, everybody likes to light a nice candle to fill the room with those holiday smells. So talk to us about how we can prevent dangerous accidents with candles.
Well, one of the ways is to start switching over the candles you have in your house to flameless candles. This is a flameless candle. It's battery operated. In the bottom, actually, this one smells like vanilla, if you like to smell.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I didn't know any of the flameless ones.
They have odors now,
Okay.
right? And so they can be, if you're interested in that, they actually do have those as well. And these can be found now in all dollar stores and pharmacy stores, and it's really easy to come by them, and they really reduce the fire risk. If you do choose to use a flamed candle, make sure you're in the same room with it and you're awake at all times. We do tend to have fires that start in bedrooms, for example, and people forget they light a candle or they get really relaxed. Then they fall asleep and that candle's not being watched anymore. So if you choose to use a flamed candle, make sure you're in the same room with it and you're awake to enjoy it.
So I also noticed you brought the stick, the orange stick. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're coming into, of course, fall and winter, which means the cooler weather is approaching, hopefully. But we also then have home heating, so our heat gets turned on. And sometimes you want a little extra warmth in your home or office. I know there are individuals who enjoy that extra bit of heat. However, those space heaters can become a high risk for fire. And so one of the things that we recommend is remembering 3 feet from heat. Okay. So this is actually a yardstick, in the form of a kind of a cube, and it helps to remind people that this is how far the distance is that you should have things close to your source of your heat. So this includes fireplaces and ovens as well. And if you don't have a yardstick at home, if you go from the tips of your fingers to approximately the middle of your chest, that's approximately 3 feet, and you don't need to have a yardstick to figure that out. So that's
So what other fire safety tips could you give to our viewers today?
well, there's quite a few. I think testing smoke alarms, of course, is a big one. Please remember to test them once a month and change your batteries. That when you change your clocks, change your batteries. The other important one is smoke alarms should be only held onto for about 10 years. After 10 years, the smoke alarms inner workings don't work as well. And people are leaving them up on their walls for 20 and 30 and 40 years. Once you take the back off of a smoke alarm, on the back of it there is a date.
Okay.
And so that's how you learn. And if you ever don't know or you can't reach your smoke alarms, Hampton has a free smoke alarm program, and our firefighters can even come out and test them and check them for you at zero cost.
Oh, that's great to know.
Yeah, and we'll make sure we get that number for everyone to have as well.
So before we close today, is there anything else that you want to share about fire safety or the public education piece of your job?
Prevention, prevention, prevention. Every fire, or the majority of fires, are preventable, and we want all of our citizens and our families and our students to be moving forward into the winter holidays thinking prevention is the key.
Well, you certainly have an important job, and we appreciate everything you do to help keep all of us, especially our students, safe.
Oh, I'm pleased to do it, and I'm very happy to have that opportunity.
And thanks for coming on the show today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching Wired In. Have a great week.